The Times and Trials of the Rawalpindi Conspiracy 1951, the first coup attempt in Pakistan, by Hassan Zahir. Hardcover, 305 pages, published by Oxford University Press, 1998. The review is as follows. A sitting unpopular Pakistani Prime Minister removes an army chief and installs another one. He then alleges a conspiracy against his government and democracy by a section of the armed forces, bureaucrats and wits, powerful media players and foreign-influenced civilian infidels. He is also suspicious of the move occurring right after he cancelled a trip to Moscow, aligning the country with US instead of USSR. Another section of the army, this one under the newly selected army chief, comes to the Prime Minister's rescue in the interest of national security. The Constituent Assembly passes a special law to try all of the traitors swiftly, curtailing their fundamental rights. All of the political parties call the attempted coup an act of treason. All of the country's media supports the army action without question. The news is tailored to make it seem less like a mutiny in the army itself and more a clash of West versus East, aka USA versus Communist USSR, a fight between good and evil. The traitors alleged they were simply trying to save the country from corrupt and inept government, as well as corrupt bureaucracy and corrupt police. After all, the economy was in shambles. The country, they said, was not ready for the democratic setup and should be under an honest and efficient military command to bring universal welfare to the people with equal distribution of land and wealth, save the Kashmir cause, protect the strategic national interest, and take the country on the path to financial glory, as seen fit by them. And cherry on top, this military command would have called a free and fair election in 6 months. These unruly, insubordinate, traitorous military officials who subsequently got convicted of treason got a slap on the back, a few years in airy-fairy jails, and were out in 4 to 5 years. They spent the rest of their lives pursuing politics, business, and a general sense of entitlement over all of Pakistan. They said they had been treated unfairly at their trials. After all, they hadn't really done anything, just talked about a coup, that's all, and it was a tragedy that they had been demoted. They also made their displeasure known of how the army chief saw their patriotism as nothing more than personal ambition and had insulted them by sending a team of measly police to capture and arrest them rather than a corps or commandos or Secret Service agents befitting their status. Some even wrote books about their perceived ordeal, but lived happily ever after and suffered no less than a natural death. If only Pakistan's prime ministers were so lucky. For Liaquat Ali Khan's government was saved, but not for long. The prime minister attended a rally, made a speech, and got promptly assassinated. The army chief became the defense minister, and in the short span of 5 years oversaw 6 prime ministers, got another extension and promotion with a new title, overthrowing the government to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak. He even held an unfair, unfree, biased and racist election which further divided the country. In fact, it is even suggested that it was this army chief who had committed the real conspiracy by planting the label of traitor on senior military men to weed out patriotic and rival officers. The course books and media sang sonnets of the reign of this army chief, especially during the tenure of the coup by another army chief. If you get a sense of déjà vu, you're not alone. The more things change, the more they remain the same. It seems everything is always at a crossroads in Pakistan, for this story is not of 2022, it's of 1951, more accurately of 14th August 1947, when Pakistan, carved and renamed out of an India, was a baby. That's when Major General Akbar Khan, a brooding young war hero, a Pashtun and soon-to-be Kashmiri freedom fighter, had a dream he's alleged to have shared with the founder of Pakistan. Legend has it, as told by Air Marshal retired Asghar Khan and vehemently denied by the general himself, General Khan spoke to Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah during a reception on the 14th about his disenchantment with the way things were going, saying that, quote, "Our hopes of a new system have not been realized. We still have the same colonial structure. We should bring about a change in line with the genius of our people," unquote. To which Quaid-e-Azam gave him the finger. Well, he raised his finger at him and said, quote, "Look here, you are a soldier. You have no business to criticize the government. You must concentrate on your profession," unquote. No one knows what reply, if any, Akbar Khan may have given because he denied the conversation ever occurred, but I can only imagine what answer the subsequent generals would have given to the civilian guide to show him his place, how suspicious they would have been of his people power, and how they would have made sure that such an educated civilian politician who stands up to them ceases to exist with dignity, liberty, and life intact. The book, The Times and Trials of the Rawalpindi Conspiracy 1951, the first coup attempt in Pakistan, is written by bureaucrat Hassan Zahir and was published by Oxford University Press in 1998, a year before yet another military coup d'etat. The book reads more like a dry journal than a dramatic narrative, but it contains information gleaned from declassified Government of Pakistan documents as well as interviews with key convicts. It's a good book. Reading it is a thrill until you realize there are no pictures, so curious and irritated people will have to Google everyone mentioned in the book, except perhaps legendary Faiz Ahmad Faiz. I would have liked to have seen the to-do list that was handwritten by leading coup mastermind General Akbar, but it's not in the appendices. What the book clearly shows is how the wheels of defense, judiciary, bureaucracy, intelligence, political parties, and media are used and abused by elements within these groups to gain power. And such games have yielded more chaos and uncertainty every single time they are played. Meanwhile, the people of Pakistan soldier on. This review was posted on Goodreads site. I read my father's hardcover copy, which carried the price tag of Rs 495. I have no idea what it costs now. Websites of both OUP Pakistan and Sange-Meal publication don't carry it. To get it, check Amazon link given below, as well as local Pakistani bookstores and foreign libraries. Thank you for listening. What do you make of the book? Do share your thoughts below.